This is the 90 Degree Show brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. And here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Good evening. How good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Welcome to the 90 Degree Show, and I am your host, Joe Beard, happy to be of service for you tonight. Excuse me. Today is November 24th, 2013, 5 o'clock on the West Coast and 8 o'clock on the East Coast. We appreciate all those listening live or listening in podcast form through Blog Talk Radio, our website, or through iTunes. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com, click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. Okay, tonight we are in the Thanksgiving week, and lots of people are going home or going on vacation for the holiday this upcoming Thursday. Still lots of traveling and lots of people meeting up and family. Real good part of the year, starting to be the favorite part of the year, where Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, just a wonderful time. Also, I'm proud to say that we've reached another milestone here at the Marching Podcast Network. This Tuesday, we will chop it up with Joshua Cousin, a.k.a. The Book, and that will be our 100th episode, I can't even get it out, our 100th broadcast. So we're excited about that milestone. Really excited if I could talk and get it out tonight, and we're excited and just blessed for the achievement. We released a blog post this Thursday of this past week talking about the milestone and sending a shout out and a thanks to all the people that were involved with the 100 broadcasts, not only the Marching Podcast with the 90 Degree Show and Chopping It Up, but we had some other broadcasts throughout the year, out this past year, other people that helped us reach that milestone. So we want to thank them as well. You can go to blog4.themarchingpodcast.com and check out our blog. Follow our blog. You'll see a button there on the right that says follow the Marching Blogcast. Just click that button and enter the email address that you want our post to go to, and you will then be following and finding out all extra insight and extra information about the Marching Podcast and how we develop our show. So thanks again to all those people, and we're excited about our 100th broadcast. This would be broadcast 99, so we're excited about that as well. So, like we said, thanks to all the people that are involved to the broadcast. Before we get into Week 13, I want to announce our Week 12 feature matchup winner for the SIAC championship between Miles and Albany State University. Albany State won the football game and are SIAC champions, but we will give out the winner of the People's Choice Awards for the band battle. So tonight's show is brought to you by Liquid Effects Photography, Block Band Music, bandhead.org, and HBCUnews.net. Our first segment is brought to you by Liquid Effects Photography and HBCUnews.net. Let's take the time to hear from them now.
Hi, this is Chris Jones, owner and founder and creator of March Aerobics. My website is cj@marchaerobics.com, and you listen to the 90 Degree Show in the Marching Podcast Network. Now get your legs up.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556. Do you know where to find scholarship information and other financial resources that are available to HBCU students? Are you up to date on the latest information in the HBCU world? If you answer no to any of these questions, then HBCU News with the Reads is the place for you. We provide information to spark interest, success stories of graduates, and the latest on issues that you care about. So check out HBCU News with the Reads Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on blogtalkradio.com/marching podcast. Check out our website and point your browser toward hbcunews.net and join in on the calls and discussion today.
Hey, bandheads, this is Christy Walker. I'm alumni of the North Carolina A&amp Blue and Gold Marching Machine and one of the creators of the fifthquarter.com, and you are listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
All right, we're back. We want to thank our beloved sponsors. Can't ever say that enough. And we want to go ahead and read the winners of our Week 12 matchup. And the Week 12 matchup was, like I said, Miles and Albany State. We had a rematch of this again this year. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get to the voting here. With 56% of the vote, that is correct, 56% of the vote, Miles College edges out Albany State. So we want to thank Miles College, and we want to congratulate Miles College, rather, and thank Albany State. I thought it was a pretty good battle. I agree that I thought that Miles edged them out on the field and in the stands. I think that the panel all thought that. So we're really excited, and we really appreciate all those for voting. Always make sure you go out every week to themarchingpodcast.com and vote for our Week 12 matchup winner. We have, looks like we got a caller in the queue. I'll go ahead and get to that now, someone from the 703 area code. Caller, go ahead and give us your name and where you're calling from this evening.
My name is Lamik. I'm with 825 Entertainment. I'm calling from Oxnard, Maryland.
What's going on, Raymond? How you doing, man?
Everything's going all right. So still trying to upload the Howard game. So the battle.
Okay. Yeah, man. We actually were going to get into that. So you were there checking out that game?
Actually, I was there.
Okay. What you think about? I'll let you go ahead and since we're talking about his first-hand account, man. What did you think about the game?
Well, the game, honestly, I'm going to start with halftime, though. Both of the bands, honestly, in my opinion, had a weak sound, though. But, honestly, I'll give it up to Howard. And the reason why for the halftime I give it to Howard, even though the show is kind of gimmicky, even with the Steve Urkel, that's like, wow, they actually did the Steve Urkel dance during the halftime. In the stands,
wow.
I'll give it to Hampton. Yeah. Hampton won it within the stands, literally, because, with them having a better book as well. And you know about the situation with Howard, with the lack of no trombone players this year at all.
Yeah, Tyrone he got into a little bit about that talking about that last week. I was kind of, I thought that they sounded kind of good, but that's not traditionally, or not traditionally, but that's not really the sound that they want, I guess, so to speak.
No.
Wow.
They had trombone players, but they switched them off to baritone. I think they had one or two. You
know why they did that? I guess they're just trying to fill that section, I guess.
Yeah. Fifth quarter, there wasn't really no fifth quarter because the game went to double overtime, so both band directors made a consensus, let's go. But stand music, I definitely really have to give it to Hampton. But halftime, Howard.
Okay, so halftime Howard, you say, and in the stands you say Hampton.
Yeah, because even during the show, which I'm going over my record, I can hear lots of intonations from both bands, though. But I guess,
wow.
Yeah, I guess from my opinion is I just have to look at the quality of the show, who got more crowd, which will be Howard in the case.
Yeah, because I remember, I'll just read the little part that I had between the two. I looked at, the two bands. We actually talked about both bands this year. And I remember I thought Howard was impressive on the field, like with their drill. I thought that they looked good marching. And, I thought that they were pretty precise. And, you guys broke down about the missing trombones or whatever. But, I thought that they sounded pretty good. I thought they had good energy. And I thought that they danced pretty well. So I was definitely going to say, like, Howard on the field. Definitely in the stands, I wasn't really sure because, a lot comes down to the play calling. But I was thinking that Hampton maybe sounded a little bit better, like had more of a full sound. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't always sure about the chords, always with Hampton all the time either. But it seemed like they kind of edged out, or maybe they were just that much a little bit better than Howard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you called in, man, and broke that down. If anyone else is out there, you can call in at 718-664-6025. This is 90 Degree Show brought to you by Blog Talk Radio and the Marching Podcast. Thanks for listening. I'm going to put you on hold, man, and if that's cool, I'll bring you in when we bring in the rest of our experts to talk about the Florida Classic, and I'm going to actually talk about A&T and Central. Now, have you seen A&T or Central this year?
I actually haven't seen A&T or Central yet, though, so I'm actually trying to review over some past clips. I know my partner Tyrone he was actually at the Florida Classic, so he's probably going to have more in-depth details on that game.
Okay. But have you haven't seen A&T or Central at all in 2013 though?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm going to get into that, and then we're going to get into a commercial break, and then we'll come back and talk about the Florida Classic. But you're welcome, man, to stay on the line, man, or you call back. I recognize and I see your number now. But, again, I appreciate you calling in and talking about the battle of the HUs, man. I can put you on hold and put you in the queue if that's cool.
All right, that's cool.
We appreciate Raymond calling in there, 718-664. That's one of the Marching 8 to 5 guys. They are a three-headed monster. It's Raymond, Chris, and Tyrone. And I can't remember all of their last names. Of course, I know Tyrone just because I talked to him more. But I know Raymond and Chris. I know they're doing their thing. I see them on Twitter. And just love the 8 to 5 guys that are doing their thing. Had really a lot of my favorite clips from last year. Really crunk about a lot of their work and the things that they're doing. So shout out to them, and we're glad to have him on. So we're going to get into North Carolina Central and A&T, a battle of these North Carolinas here. Again, you can call in at 718-664-6025 if you want to talk about any of the battles on tap. It's a big MEAC night tonight. We talk about all MEAC schools. I don't know. There are some other schools may have been in the mix this evening or this weekend, but I know that all the ones that we're going to talk about this evening are all from the MEAC conference. So it was a lot going on with them, a lot of good teams going on. Central and A&T is always a big matchup. Always something that's always that people are excited to talk about and always excited to see. Me, myself, I like the matchup myself. Going to Johnson C. Smith, I was exposed to a lot more of the East Coast bands. Growing up with my dad being, from Jackson State and all, I was exposed to much more of the SWAC. So it's good to see them. Really like Central. I've seen a couple of Central shows, and one thing that's cool about Central that it jumps out, they call themselves a hybrid band, and I really like that word. Another band or another school that we could talk about in reference to that was Virginia State. We talked about Virginia State last week, and I talked about the mix or, whatever it is that you want to call it, but they call it the hybrid band. I really like to hear that. I like that. So, we'll definitely roll with that, too, with a hybrid band or whatever. And, I thought that their show was good. One thing about the hybrid band or the hybrid attention, whatever you want to call it, it's easy, I think, to win your show. I think that when you come with a hybrid or, whatever you want to call it, you're coming with something that hasn't been seen, but it looks good. I mean, I really thought that they had a good show. I saw them, I believe, I don't know if it was their homecoming, and I believe I actually saw this game, but they felt that, you know, I felt that they play well, but there is a mix of like this, I don't know, it's like this erect form. And like Norfolk has it. I think we talked about Hampton have it, where it's, you know, it's the straight up and down, you know, not too much spunk, just hardcore look, very, you know, clean, reverent type of thing. I think Central has that, but I think they're missing a little bit of the excitement. You know, I think the hybrid thing also works for bands that have the smaller numbers for the show effect. The only thing, like I said, I think they're missing some excitement and a certain type of attitude that I believe that they're missing. I like Central Show and what they do. I don't think that they're as precise as they want to be, or a lot of crooked lines in the show that I saw in their formations. And, you know, they don't seem to be playing like a marching band style. Now, marching band style, what I mean by that is like, for the people who, you know, play their instruments, there's a difference in playing jazz band, concert band, symphonic band, marching band. You know, marching band, you're a little bit more open, you know, you're excited, loud, you know, but then concert band, you're a lot more taken back, calmer, you know, playing within yourself and doing a lot more listening to others around you. There's a different way of playing, and I don't think Central's out there really playing like a marching band. You know, they remind me of their being really concert bandish or ensemble-ish, you know. I think they are playing well together, and I think that they sound okay. I just don't think they're playing as hard as they could be. You know, I think they're way too controlled. I think they have good energy in their dance routines and certain parts of the show, but they just don't have enough swag. You know what I mean? It's not enough of, you know, what I'm looking for or what I would like to see in Central. But, you know, the hybrid bands, I really like it. You know, I think that, you know, it's a way to pull off definitely winning a halftime show. Now, A&T, we'll get into them, and we've talked about them, but another good season for the Aggies. You know, great band directors, good musicians. I believe they have the best swagger in the MEAC. You know, that, you know, we always talk about Bethune and the MEAC, but I think A&T has that swagger. I think they have a little bit more excitement in themselves, you know, more than Bethune, because, you know, Bethune is a little bit more laid back, you know. They were nominated, A&T that is, they were nominated last year for their halftime show, and this year the Gangster Show, you know, was really, really good. Amongst some other shows this year I've seen, I saw one of their shows this year where they didn't even dance. I think it was the first show of the year, but it was a good show. I see some calls rolling in here. Someone from the 321 area code. I'll go ahead and get to you, and I think I see Rashad in there. We'll get to you for the next commercial break. But their sound is good, and they do a good job of playing with dynamics and musicality. Not too much more with A&T. I think it still would be a clean sweep with the halftime show and with A&T in the stands over Central. I believe Central is like they're maybe in the down years of what's going on, and not the directors or the showmanship, but the musicians. And I think the numbers seem not to be in full swing. They could be more precise, and I think that there are too many people not filling up their horns with air. But the hybrid style, you know, it comes in, it puts them in the door, but if they could tighten some screws, they would be a real force to deal with. I just think A&T is just on another level right now, too much for Central to handle. And Central would definitely have a chance with their show, but A&T also puts on good shows, so I just think it's harder to catch A&T slipping. So we're going to go ahead and get to a commercial break. I took a little bit longer than what I wanted to. Caller from the 321 area code, I saw you out there, man. If you're out there listening, go ahead and please call us back. I'm going to open the chat room. Just a lot of things I haven't done from the tip-off of the show, but definitely we're going to go ahead and get that all launched off so you can join the chat room. Person from the 321 area code, you can call back. But you're listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast. Network and Blog Talk Radio. We're going to go to this next commercial break, brought to you by bandhead.org and HBCUbands.com and Block Band Music. Let's hear from them now.
The Edge 1, Southern University's Class of 2013 graduate. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
Block Band is a minority-owned music business that you can think of as your assistant band director. We help grow your musicians with a great selection of traditional concert band music. Then we back up their performance with necessities like reeds, oil, drum heads, drumsticks, and mallets. Finally, we outfit your players in auxiliary and shoes, spats, and gloves that match our precise custom drills. Got band? If so, then Block Band's got you. Check blockbandmusic.com or call us at 919-698-2560. That's blockbandmusic.com, 919-698-2560. What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is, bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. And coming this fall, HBCUbands.com. Write that down, HBCUbands.com.
Hey, this is Melita Wilson, alumni of Bethune Cookman University in Daytona Beach, Florida, founder of HBCU Campus Tours, listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Okay, we're back. We appreciate all those listening live. We're ready to talk about our featured matchup, 2013 Florida Classic, Florida A&amp versus Bethune Cookman. You're listening to Norfolk State University playing the Ice Cream Man. It's one of their things. They love cranking this song, and it's a pretty cool song for transition music. So we're talking about Norfolk tonight. We're going to definitely hook that up. You're free yourself to call in at 718-664-6025. The Marching Podcast, the 90 Degree Show you're listening to. Appreciate all those listening live. We're going to go ahead and bring in Rashad, and we're going to go ahead and bring in Raymond again. Raymond, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. And Rashad, are you there, man?
Yeah, man, I'm right here.
All right, well, we appreciate all you guys being on the show with me tonight, man. Here to talk about the Florida Classic. Have you guys seen Florida A&amp and Bethune Cookman this year? Raymond, I'll start with you because I know Rashad has, but have you seen Florida A&amp and Bethune Cookman this year?
I've seen Florida A&amp. I'm just like, man, from the South Florida, it's not the usual family I'm used to seeing.
Oh yeah, definitely. What did you think about them overall?
Overall, like I said, this is like just a new with the new band director and everything. I say over time though, Florida will be back to whereas in the past. So I'm just thinking this more of a transitional year.
Do you think it's a transitional year? But so I don't want to say that you think they're bad, but do you think they're bad this year?
No, I wouldn't say they're not bad.
Okay.
Just not to what I'm used to seeing.
Right. Okay. I hear you, man. I hear you. Rashad, man, what do you think about Florida A&amp this year?
Well, man, I can tell you here, Joe, right before I started the show, man, I had a little headache, so I popped some Alka-Seltzer real quick, and I'm going to tell you when I put the Alka-Seltzer in this glass, it turned orange, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's orange. That means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it broke me down too. I was all ready for the philosophy in that one. I was like, wow, this is about to be deep. You know?
It's making my headache go away. That's all it's doing. So where do you want me to start, man? You want me to just talk about FAMU in general or the show from yesterday?
Well, FAMU in general, I kind of wanted to see what you think now. You know, we talked about them on the early part of the year, you know, because, you know, they were back, you know. and it's been a while since we talked about them. So what do you think? How do you think that they look now in this part of the year? It's the end of the year, basically.
I really don't think that they get enough props. I think a lot of people continuously compare them to where they were. And, when you look at the field, when you look at them on the field, it is kind of disappointing sometimes, because it seems like every time somebody takes a picture of them on the field, it's always from the far away shot. Like, they would never take a picture of, let's say, North Carolina Central like that. They'd always get the tight shot on Central. But for FAM, they always get the spread out shot, so you always see, dang, they're so much smaller. But they're actually, a decent-sized band. And I think they're doing really well for the fact that band is exceptionally young. I mean, they're all new. As I understand it, most of the band is, brand new players to FAMU. So I think they're doing very, very well for what's happening. There's not too many programs in our country right now that could go through what they went through with the program being completely dismantled, band director gone, a lot of the traditions and things that were there gone, and then coming back and being as good as they are. So I have to give them props for that.
Okay. We got a call in the queue of someone from the 240 area code. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from this evening?
Tyrone.
I was wondering if that was going to be Tyrone. What's up, man? What's going on this evening?
Nothing much, man. I'm glad to be alive and here.
I hear you, man. So we just started getting into the Florida class, and we actually just talking about FAM and just like how they are this year at this point in the year. What do you think about FAM, man?
Like Rashad was saying, man, from what they went through last year and being able to come back, I think traditionally they're where they need to be. They're pretty much starting back where they were the year before last, tradition-wise.
Okay.
Only thing missing from them is pretty much the size that everybody is used to seeing from them.
Right.
Earlier this year, the first game when I saw them, at SWAC, I saw the tradition there. I just think they were not polished yet with it. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, seeing them, they're pretty much where they need to be right now. FAMU is back, just smaller.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I think I kind of agree with you guys. I like you said, smaller, and definitely you notice how young they sound. We talked about the immaturity of sounds, and just how it sounds like a full grown sound, supporting the pitch and everything. I just want to think, the chat room is open. We got the chat room open, so if you have a Blog Talk Radio account and you're listening live there, you can go ahead and join the chat room. I'm getting a little feedback in somebody's headphones, so if you're there on the phone or listen, you can hear the show through the phone. Mute your computers. I think, man, that the musicality is still there. The knowledge is gonna be still there, and they're just missing the like that middle low brass, the stuff that makes it real true. Yeah, man, we're getting too much feedback. It's something's killing me out. But it's that true feedback. Or I'm sorry, true feedback. Stuff I had to meet y'all, man, just because it's something. Whatever you guys, go ahead and fix this. The background. 718-664-6025. You listen to Marching Podcast with the 90 Degree Show on Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for listening. But definitely, man, I'm missing that bass, the deepness, that darkness of the tone that made it that true stereophonic type, FAMU sound. You definitely hear the upper brass, but it doesn't sustain, and something Raymond's similar to what he was saying is like, it's just not what he's used to seeing. So, you can't call them bad or whatever. But, they just have a very bright sound. And I think Rashad broke it down and said, the youth in the band, it's obvious, still have decent numbers to perform their drills and formations on the show that they did for the Florida Classic. And I saw it, I think, in a previous show that they did, maybe for their homecoming, and it's on our website at themarchingpodcast.com. They formed the champagne glass, and they had the champagne coming out of the champagne glass. I thought that was cool, just because, we were just talking about that last week with the animations and how I'll go ahead. Okay, I'm bringing you guys back in. We talked about the animations and whatnot, and FAMU being traditionally known for that. So they did a little something with that. One thing I did notice, I don't want to get too much off on the tangent too, is the fact that a lot of the HBCUs march heel toe. Oh, I'm sorry, not heel toe, but 90s. SWAC style, whatever you want to call it. They're putting their knees in your chest. And I wonder, Rashad, do you think that's a little bit harder to do versus doing heel toe?
Is it harder, the high step versus rolling your foot?
Yeah. I mean, as far as making the formations, making a lot of the formations and animations that you see, because we talked about the precisions of like Ohio State and, the things that they're doing. Do you think that they have somewhat of an edge because they're doing heel toe?
Ohio State doesn't do heel toe. Ohio State high steps.
Yeah, Ohio State high step. It's pretty much a semi-high step. They don't do full 90. They do pretty much like a 45.
Like Southern.
Okay.
Southern doesn't do 90.
Southern doesn't do 90?
Not that I see, no.
Oh.
you starting a war over there, Rashad. Don't get it.
No. I mean, Southern teams
just threw a live grenade into the room.
Everybody's like the same. I would say like
I'll start
45
to like a 65.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Rashad?
I said everybody in Southern Bend keeps a nice 45 to 60 degrees. I mean, it's very uniform. You'll see at the Bayou Classic next one. When you see them sweeping the field, that's what you're going to see, 45 to 60, and it's going to look good.
Okay, yeah, because it seemed, I wasn't really sure per se that, I didn't know if you were trying to be funny or not, but yeah, usually I guess to see that when I see the 90s, you know what I mean, definitely what I see from Ohio State or what I saw at, like, I think University of Wisconsin I didn't see like 90s. But do you think, and also during some of the formations and the actual animations when the things go, they change to like a roll step. I have noticed that. But I was wondering if you thought that there was an advantage or a disadvantage in that, and would you like to see more HBCU bands doing that roll step type of thing?
Now, the only advantage to roll stepping is the sound. There's no advantage when it comes to crossing the field.
Okay.
Because, at least when you're talking about a general side step, there's no real advantage. It's basically all the same there. The only time that roll step comes into advantage from the moving across the field standpoint is if you were doing a dash run, which you'll see some of the drum and bugle corps do, where you were jotting across that field in a hurry, and you don't see really man do that. But other than that, no, you can march half a step, whether you be a roll step or whether it be a high step. It doesn't matter there.
Okay. Now we'll go ahead and start talking about the actual game. I didn't want to talk too much about FAM and what they did, but they did do the animations. Raymond, were you able to check out the Florida Classic?
No, I'll let Tyrone elaborate more on that because he was actually there.
Oh, okay, yeah, he was there. Okay, I'll let you get into it. It's Tyrone's the one that has the feedback problem, so I hit him up. I'm gonna see if we can go on. Rashad, I'm gonna let you go while the clock is burning. What did you think of the Florida Classic with FAMU and Bethune Cookman?
Okay. All right. So let's see here. I'm going to say something at the end of my commentary on Joe that's going to get me banned from Florida. But I'm and I'm required to say what has to be said. Tyrone is already banned from Florida because he said something about them not doing animation.
Yes.
You know, a couple of shows back. So neither me or Tyrone are going to be able to go. But let me break it down here. So we started out coming on the field. I saw 2 shows. I saw one from the 5th that was like, like somebody said, in the pep band. I mean, the people were waving their
right there.
I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah.
You know, but hey, I should have gone if I wanted to get a better video. And then I compared it to the video that you put up on your show, so I could see. Yes, they did pretty much the same thing the week before at homecoming.
Okay.
So anyway, let's start out with the. It started out. I wasn't really feeling the marching style. I thought it was kind of not really precise at first when they were first coming on the field and got into the 20th Century Fanfare. I thought the 20th Century Fanfare sounded exactly like it did at the very beginning of the year. It was very, very thin, a lot of first trombone, a lot of first trumpet, those background parts, those third trumpets, those third trombones, second trombones, that stuff was very, very missing. And honestly, I really didn't know myself how much of an effect that has. But it does. It really has a serious effect, particularly on a band like Fam, that, as you said, is known for its missions. But from there, it improved because right when they went into marching their drill, their marching style was awesome. I mean, it was impeccable. I mean, everybody was uniform. Everybody was doing the exact same thing. And, Joe, that comment that I'm saying here is what's going to get me banned from Florida. Okay. Everybody was doing the exact same thing. Everybody looked uniform. When the whole band, when they would turn around and do an about or to the rear or about face, wow, that was impressive. I mean, they really got that down. Now, that's what I saw from up close. From far away, you could see that even though the marching style was good, the 8-to-5 marching and the staying in formation, that was not as good. Definitely not as clean cut. It was more kind of like what we've seen from Fam. But the marching style was better than I've ever seen from Fam, at least recently anyway. Let's see here. Then they made the champagne glass, which I found out about on the thing, on the video that you posted. Okay, a couple things. Yes, they made the champagne glass, and then they made champagne glass and they stopped marching. And we know that this is traditionally what Fam has done. They go out there and make something cool, and then they take a knee. Just to say this, in the Ohio State era now, that's not going to really be enough anymore. You know, it used to be Fam could go out there and make something cool and then take a knee, and that was impressive. It's not really enough anymore. When Ohio State's got people, Superman changing into, Clark Kent changing into Superman and stopping buildings from falling over. They're going to have to do more. We're all going to have to do more.
Yeah.
You know. Let me see here. Well, here's an interesting point. So, Joe, when's the last time that you took a champagne glass and filled it up by holding it up to the champagne bottle and kept the champagne bottle facing straight up?
Oh, good point. I don't really drink, but yeah, but that's a really, really good point. And the stream just doesn't come out of the bottle straight up, does it?
It might come straight up, but it definitely doesn't go to the side and fill your glass.
Right, that's what I meant to say. The stream, right? The stream. That's actually a really good point, man. That's really, really good point.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a beeping too in the background too. I'm picking up.
It's not me.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead, man.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So we went into Oh Lord, How Excellent. And actually, Joe, the sound was much thicker and richer there. I wonder if during the 20th Century Fanfare, it's just that they've gotten used to this is how we play it. And so you see that with bands. No matter, certain songs always sound a certain way, no matter what happens with that band. 20th Century Fanfare sounded very thin. Maybe it was because it's the exact same arrangement that was done for the bigger band versus this How Excellent was
really good point
arranged for this band. But that sounded really thick and really rich. Low brass sounded awesome. And, singing sounded decent, although at the end when they got into singing the Amen, I felt like they were singing in a different key. They're much better at playing than singing, I'll tell you that now. Then they got into their dance routine. Joe, I'm really happy to see that the brass is spread across the field now instead of being all the way at the right end. I never liked that. I always hated that. I never understood why Fam did that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. because you have all if you're on the 50-yard line listening to the band, you have all of this sound coming from the right, and you got almost very little coming from the left.
Yeah.
Versus yesterday they spread the brass all the way across the field, and so it was much better.
Similar to what Bethune does.
Yeah, or similar to what almost everybody does.
And Tennessee State, yeah, exactly, yeah.
I do want to know what's up with all the smoke. I swear somebody's going to get cancer out there. Because, they had a bunch of smoke at the Battle of the Bands they did the day before, too. Yeah, it's like you couldn't even see. I'm surprised nobody didn't run into each other because there was just smoke everywhere.
Do you like the smoke, man? Do you like the smoke?
Well, I didn't know what it was about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why it was there because it was too close. I was in the pep squad,
Okay.
It looked like a tuba caught on fire from my perspective. But it was a good show overall. It wasn't the greatest show. It wasn't a we're going to destroy you show, but it was technically sound. And you could tell, I love the fact, being in that pep squad area, how much that FAMU audience loves that band, and they're so happy that they're back. They really, really loved them. And every time that the announcer said #1 band in America, they just went crazy,
Yeah.
So now
that's real.
here's what's going to get me banned from from Florida. Joe, one thing that you notice is this FAMU is a lot different than every other FAM that I've ever seen before. This FAMU is exceptionally clean. Their playing is very, very clean. Everybody is exactly together, and all their marching is exactly the same. They sound and kind of look. Should I say it, Joe?
Wow! I got to hear this.
Kind of like Bethune Cookman.
Yeah.
I
was wondering if that was even be said, because that's what I noticed too. Like, because to me that's always been the Achilles heel to me. Is like, it's just how many people do they really need? I know it's your tradition to have 400 million people out there drilling and doing all of that, and you only sound like half of Jackson State's band, but I didn't, but that's the thing, like the volume. It's just like, do they really need that much? So I think, you bring up a really good point where maybe they cut out a lot of what they didn't need right now. Mm-hmm. And the arrangements is written for that band much more richer. Maybe they don't need the numbers that they have. I want to get Tyrone in here because I see the clock burning down. What did you think about? And we'll get into the Bethune side too from Rashad. But what did you think about the halftime show?
Is that Tyrone talking about?
Yeah, Tyrone there? Is Tyrone still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, cool. What did you think, man? What did you think about the halftime show at the Florida Classic?
Sam was Sam. For the most part, they did everything that you would expect the fam, including the whole champagne bottle thing. And I do agree with you, Rashad. It is kind of played out now. They definitely have to start stepping their game up now that Ohio State has reset the bar to a higher standard. And I pretty much want to issue that challenge to all of the HBCU bands in terms of their drill designs, or any time when they're out there making some type of picture design on the field. Because to me, diamonds are played out. The little fan type pinwheels can do a little bit more than that. The step twos, I think you can do a little bit more than what's been done. As far as Sam's show overall, I felt that it was pretty much a climatic show. It did keep building and building. I'm a little more critical about them because I've seen them do better musically. They do have some weak points as far as intonation and articulations between the trumpet sections, the baritones and French horns getting weak on the ends of their phrases. Overall, I say they are better than they were at the beginning of the season now, and I just hope they continue to build on that going into the next season. Being that they're a smaller band, I can definitely tell you for sure, from the last time I've seen them this small, everything that they're doing is going to be amplified as far as any type of weakness, marching style, errors, or anything like that, because they can't hide anymore.
Right. I hear that, man. And I'm going to ask you guys, because I got to close this quick before we get to the last commercial break. What did you think about Bethune Cookman halftime show, real quick between the two of you, and then I'm going to get who you guys think won the battle. Tyrone, I'll start with you. What did you think about Bethune's halftime show?
I like how they came onto the field with the ludicrous move out of the way thing. It was real hype to go into that, marching the BCU down the field. I'm kind of tired of seeing it, but it was cool. It kept the hype of the show, keep that coming. That was cool. The drill was nice. I wish they could have did a little bit more as far as being more creative. They pretty much just moved the lines down the field and go into a formation, which they actually drew the outline of a shirt and tie inside of a suit. I don't know if anybody was able to figure out what that was, but that's what it was.
Okay.
For a suit and tie from Justin Timberlake, which I thought that was a kind of good idea, but it looked kind of funny on the field the way it was designed. The ballad was pretty good. I've heard it before. It wasn't the best I've heard them play it, but it was pretty good. Dancer team was pretty solid, as usual.
Just as usual. Who do you think won the halftime show?
Ooh. I hate that they both did the turn it up thing, paying homage to Kevin Hart, who attended the game. That kind of just made it neutral for me because it wasn't anything for them to stand apart from that, because it's like, okay, well, they did that. But sound-wise, Cookman, hands down. Overall execution from beginning to the end, I would probably say Sam.
So you give it so you kind of torn. You kind of like you give one here. So it's just kind of like.
So I'm really torn
about
about
it. So I guess it's just one. I guess per se. I guess you think you split on the field. What did you? Was there a fifth quarter that actually happened?
No fifth quarter because they had that whole post game trophies for the Florida Classic and the MEAC conference.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Cookman played one song for the team and left. The rest of the time
Who do you think would have won the fifth quarter between the two?
Based off of play call, I would probably have to give it to Fam because they're a little more. They have a little more variety, including the marches.
Does Bethune play marches?
I have yet to hear Bethune play a march. Last time I heard Bethune play a march was probably around like 2004.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
So you think Fam? So you were kind of torn on the field, but then you kind of give it to Fam, the edge in the stands. Rashad, what do you think about Bethune's halftime show, and who do you think won the halftime show?
All right, so like my man Tyrone said there, Bethune started their show really hype. I loved it. The move, get out the way, I think was very, very fitting. You know,
it was.
Hey, that was good. Let me show you how to get better. I mean, I like that. And then the drum edges doing their thing. it was fantastic. Kind of like what we were talking about last week, where somebody's drum major just came out there. I think it was Alcorn. It's like, that was decent. But these guys, it's like, this is what they do. Drum majoring is what they do, and that was a hype entrance that they did. So they really get the crowd going. The marching was great as usual. I'm almost exactly like Tyrone was saying. I wish the drilling had been more creative, but then again, maybe that was only because from the angle of the video I saw, I couldn't see them do anything but just move around. Right. I didn't see them make the shirt, the suit and tie, so that's probably my bad there. Maybe I should have gone. The Take Me to the King, maybe a couple intonation problems going on in the trumpets and maybe in the alto saxes, baritones, sometimes in the trombones here. We really need to work on that. That's not to say that Fam didn't have them. Just once again, in the video that I saw, it was more evident. It wasn't atrocious. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't anything that the average person would probably hear or notice. It sounded pretty decent. But when you are sounding that good as they are, itty-bitty problems start to stick out. Okay?
Right.
And then they did the Turn It Up dance, which kind of goes along with what I was saying before, how Fam has started to sound a lot more like Bethune. Well, for years, it was kind of traditional for maybe Bethune, Fam, to go out there and make a word or do something and then dance to it. So I thought it was kind of interesting that Bethune would go out there and Turn It Up and then dance to it. Like, that's kind of what Fam used to do or does. So these bands are like becoming almost mirror images of each other.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kill next time I go there. All right. Here is the wrap-up. I would give it to Bethune. Once again, they're just a more mature, solid band right now. They've been doing the whole we're extremely clean in our marching and playing for years, versus FAMU is kind of just doing this stuff now with their new director, with them being exceptionally clean in their marching style and playing. Bethune they've been doing that for a while. But this was Bethune's opportunity to crush Fam. I mean, they could have just demolished them. The announcer could have just been throwing so much trash at them. It should have been, after that show, kids should have been like, I'm not going to Fam. The kids in Fam's band should have just given up, because Bethune might not ever have an opportunity like they had this yesterday to just destroy and crush them. And they didn't take it. It was a decent show. But we have all seen Bethune run up on your homecoming and crush you.
You are not. You're right.
What you say?
You are absolutely right about that homecoming thing.
Yeah, they come to your homecoming and they are the homecoming travel tour crush you band, and they should have done that and they just didn't. And I think they're going to pay for that next year because FAMU is going to be bigger, they're going to be better, and they're not going to be so easy to chomp down.
Well, man, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That was the main point. That was the essence of essentially what I thought of Bethune. I gave the show to Bethune, and I actually gave it to Bethune in the stands. Though Tyrone makes a really good point about them not playing marches. I just don't like Fam's sound, and I think Bethune, with the play calling and their sound, they would eventually get with that. But yeah, definitely, I'm a marches guy myself, definitely, and I love it when bands play marches. Definitely starting out the fifth with marches is definitely the way to go with me. But, Rashad, you hit it on the head. Bethune did not take this opportunity. They could have crushed them. Just like you said, the next 4 or 5 years could have been desolate for Fam. And I don't think they took that opportunity to, step on the neck, like, they always say. I think what they did was, hey, look, we're better than you, da-da-da-da-da. I think that was the attitude of their show. Look, we're better than you. You know what I'm saying? They didn't come for their neck, we don't want you to ever succeed again, But just like you said, man, they had an opportunity to do something, and I don't think they did. And Fam will definitely have a chance now to get better and to try to build on that show last year. I'm sure there was a lot of people there that think Fam was pretty close to, Bethune in their show. I thought that I thought that FAM was good, and you bring up a really good point about the glass. It wasn't as authentic, you know what I mean? But I did think FAM was a little scared themselves. Like FAM, but you know, and to their credit, they should have been. They weren't expecting. We didn't know what Bethune was going to do. But I felt, was it, they played, He Is Excellent, right? Definitely playing on emotions again. I thought it was a little bit where, it was like, oh no, like, look at us, we're back. And I felt that their show was catering to their fans and their alumni. Just like you said, we're back. And, like, hey, it's like blah, blah, blah. I don't think they tried to come for Bethune. I thought they tried to play to their crowd, to their home. Hey, we're back. We've been through some tough times, blah, blah, blah. Let's celebrate us being here. I don't think they tried to attack Bethune. And I think Bethune let them off the hook, basically. I think that's the end analysis of what I thought. But I have to give it to Bethune, man. They be marching, man. And I think that they march at a good tempo. But on the tape that I saw, you saw a lot of individuals like marching their behinds off, and I really, really think that that's good and it means a lot. But I think that Bethune wins on the show, and I think in the stands too. I think that even though FAM is coming with those marches, I think that Bethune is with the play calling and they sounding better. I think it's a sweep.
So I'd like to just interject real quick here. Exactly what you're talking about here. Bethune had the opportunity to make it so this game could have been something that FAMU students talked about for years. Like, gosh, do you remember when we got destroyed against Bethune? Do you remember they made an elephant on the field and made it do a backflip? That was crazy. Right. We got pressed. They could have marked them. Instead, they had this young band said, wow, we went up against one of the best bands in the MEAC. And some of them are saying, and we cut them. We cut them. So now they're building on that. And next year, it's going to be so much harder to try to defeat them, as opposed to next year they should come into the battle saying, gosh, man, we got to do our best because we got destroyed last year,
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the main thing that I thought about, And I remember I actually saw, when we talking about Facebook and, all the marching band forums people talk about, I saw something on Facebook where, like, there was a picture of the Donovan Wells, the director, and I can't remember what it exactly said, but it was like, hey, we going to blow them out next week, like, and I even said a little joke saying, and just repeating a joke, not my joke, but just repeating a joke about Kevin Poteet and saying that FAM was going to carpool. I mean, they were on the ropes. You know what I'm saying? They were on the ropes, man. But Bethune they didn't do it. They didn't, they didn't knock them out like I wanted to. And I'm sure like they wanted to, you know what I mean? Let's get to this last commercial break, and we really appreciate the time. We wrapping up. We getting close to the end of the show here. Or we get to this last commercial break. This last commercial break is brought to you by the Marching Podcast Network and the marchingpodcast.com. Let's take a time to hear from some of the programming here on the network.
This is Tyrone McCullum, graduate of South Carolina State University Marching 101 Band of 2006, representing the marching8to5.com, and I am listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast.
The Marching Podcast Network is a network of podcasts with the purpose to inspire, educate, and show positive images in our community. Our network produces podcasts about college marching bands, business, health, finances, college preparation, spirituality, instrumentation development, along with one-on-one interviews with strong role models in our community. All podcasts are interactive and invite you, the listener, to call in and speak. Looking for a podcast network that educates and inspires to make our world a better place? Then listen to us at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. Check out our website at themarchingpodcast.com. Tweet us at marchingpodcast, or follow our blog at blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. The Marching Podcast, changing the world through positive interaction. Chopping It Up with the Marching Podcast is a podcast of one-on-one interviews with positive role models that have a connection through music and or education. We also give the listener an opportunity to call in and talk with our guests. Chopping It Up is all about inspiring our youth for a great future and providing a roadmap on how to get there. We also chop it up to give insight to anyone looking for information, inspiration, and advice in their endeavors. Chop it up with us every second Tuesday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. Chopping it up, changing the world through positive interaction.
Hi, this is Thaddeus Dixon, Crab of 94 on the Sonic Boom of the South, graduate of Jackson State University, class of 2000. And you are listening to the 90 Degrees Show at the Marching Podcast Network.
Okay, you're back, and you're listening to Bethune Cookman right now, playing Blurred Lines in one of their halftime shows. We're going to bring in the last segment of the show tonight. You're happy to call in, or we're welcome to call in at 718-664-6025. You can tweet us at marchingpodcast.com. Or if you're listening live and you have a Blog Talk Radio account, you can join the chat room there here at themarchingpodcast.com, listening in live. We're going to do our last segment here, and we're just a little bit out of time here, but we got both the guys. We got Tyrone and we have Rashad in there. Excuse me, we have Rashad in here. We're going to go quick hits for the rest of the night. And we had Raymond on the show. Him and I talked about the Battle of the HUs. That was another one of the outstanding battles that went on this weekend. I'll just put this out there again. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show. We'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial. We'll post your website on our blog, and we'll help send out your information through social media. So contact us so we can help build your business. Now, the Battle of the HUs. Tyrone, I want to ask you, man, have you ever seen Howard and or Hampton this year in 2013?
Yeah, I definitely have seen them both.
What do you think would win? And, I'll give you, some analysis, but who do you think would win in the stands between the two?
It depends on the play calling. I know in the past with this battle, Hampton, to me, has done some great play calling as far as song selections, but they're struggling as far as sound goes.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, I would give it to Howard because of their sound. They're not on the level of Bethune Fam or South Carolina State or Southern or Jackson, but they still sound pretty good for what they have. This year, without the trombones, I would probably say the lack of that support from the low brass, I would have to give it to Hampton.
Okay. Rashad, what do you think about this quick hit match, the Battle of the HUs? Who do you think will win in the stands, man?
Hampton, hands down.
Okay. Easy. I'm with you, man. I think Hampton sounds a tad bit better. I think they're a little bit more full. I'm not sure about all the chords, but I think they sound a little bit better. And, you know, of course it would come down to the play calling or whatever, but I think both bands would be hype. I didn't see any tape of the Battle of the HUs yet. I guess it might not be out there just yet. But I'm sure both of them were hype, you know, for that battle, you know, because, you know, it's a big matchup, so I'm sure that they were crunk. Now, what about in the halftime show? I'll start with you this time, Rashad. Who do you think will win the halftime show between the two?
That's a hard one. Let's see. Hampton, hands down.
No, you think Hampton do you think they march better than Howard?
Oh yeah, hands down.
Okay, yeah, because me myself, man, I think Howard looks better on the field. The tape that I saw them this year, I mean, they just really impressed me, man. They, you know, marching really well, looking really precise. I thought that Hampton was, you know, missing some of that because I just don't think they have enough that attitude. We talked about that in the analysis earlier this year. It's just not that many dogs in that band, seems like. Tyrone, what do you think about the halftime show? Who do you think would have the better halftime show?
Howard.
Okay. Do you think? Why do you think they would have the better show?
Howard in general comes out hype and generally okay. They do have a lot of gimmicks in their halftime shows, but it's still hype throughout the whole entire show. Hampton hasn't really seen that much hypeness out of them since 2002.
Oh wow! Wow. I mean, because of course we are dealing with someone on the force, of course. But yeah, I mean, that was the thing, man. You know, that was the thing that you know I was thinking about. You know, Hampton, and I guess that's just their style, and that's the thing. Maybe I'm tripping on. You know, that erect form, that erect style. But you know, it's just not enough of that. You know, I would like to see a little bit more Busta Rhymes. You know what I'm saying? But yes, definitely. You know, they sound better, sound more full, and it's probably be traditionally true. So it's outstanding, brothers. The last one, and I'm going to give you guys the parting shots before we sign off because I know we well over time. Norfolk and South Carolina State. We're both about the quick hits for both brothers on the alumni band associations here. I'll just say mine right quick. I think Norfolk is. I think they got better by the week. I thought that they were better than when I first saw them. I saw them in the Battle of the Bay, and I thought that they looked good, and they had some showmanship with the horn flashes and all that. But still, a lot of slipping in the cracks. There's some screamers out there. You know, they don't have. They got some trumpet representation out there now. I saw a lot of screamers and a lot of folks out there cranking. But I think that, and I think Norfolk seemed like they were marching really, really well. But I think that South Carolina State, I just think that they've done more. They've attempted to do an animation type of thing on the field. It was not as precise as what I would hope to see. But I think that South Carolina State is a little bit more daring than Norfolk right now. Even though I think Norfolk is better than when we first saw them this year. I think South Carolina State sounds better and they're more full and complete, so they would be better in the stands. But definitely, I don't know about the halftime show because it would really be about who had the better show. South Carolina State doesn't do anything that jumps out at you per se, and Norfolk State, they don't either. I just think South Carolina State, I've seen them have more energy this year, especially from the Atlanta Classic. Rashad, man, what do you think about this matchup?
Norfolk.
Okay.
Because, I think that Norfolk is hyper on the field, starting out from the show. They might have a couple gimmicks in the show, but I think that they are, much hyper than South Carolina State would be.
Okay. What do you think, Tyrone?
I think the one-on-one would definitely take them on the field. I'm not too sure about the stands. It would definitely have to come down to play calling. The reason why I say one-on-one on the field, they do far more than drills than Norfolk.
Mm-hmm.
has done. Norfolk pretty much stays in one centralized place and just bark at you. I've seen. I want to see a little bit more from you, Spartan Legion, please. Dancer teams, I definitely think Norfolk would have the better dancer team. If they were to do a ballot, I think South Carolina State would definitely do a lot better than them. And Champaign is a whole lot nicer than Hot Ice. I'm sorry.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Well, while we still got you on, Tyrone, anything looking forward to the 8 to 5 guys? Anything coming up on the radar?
Man, I am just looking forward to seeing what's going to happen at this. First off, the SWAC championship and the Battle of the Bands that's going on with that. I'm interested in seeing what's that outcome, and Honda, the Battle of the Bands in January, man. I'm really excited about Honda.
Yeah, we'll definitely be having a show talking about that, and we'll be, talking about all the bands that are there. I'm still kind of putting that all together, but, I'll be getting in contact with you guys. So, again, I appreciate you, Tyrone, and thanks for calling in tonight, man, and I'll be hollering at you this week, man.
I appreciate having me on, man.
All right, man. Tell Raymond I said thanks, man. Tell him I said hello.
Okay, definitely.
And remember, Hampton hands down.
Right, Rashad, what's going on, man? Anything coming up on the radar? Anything else going on with block band music or with you coming up for the rest of the year?
Block band, man, we're just preparing for a very exciting 2014. 2013 was a great year for us, and we're continuing to build the size of our staff. We have more and more customers that we want to reach. We're adding more and more arrangers to what we have on. We're adding a marketing department now. I mean, so we were really blessed in 2013, and I feel like God's going to bless us even more in 2014. We're going to be transitioning into writing pep band music, and also we sell traditional concert band music, and we also do arrangements of concert band music as well. For all the people who've been doing drumline competitions and auxiliary competition, we also, sell all the drum heads and the shoes and all that type of stuff. So we're really excited about what's going to happen there. From a personal standpoint, I am personally exceptionally excited about next weekend. I don't know about you, Joe, but ever since I was 16 years old, the Bayou Classic has been a staple in my family. I always I'm the only, band member in my family, but I always force everyone to watch the Bayou Classic.
Yeah.
Because it is just a huge event, and it does, to me, so much for the, you hear we talked about this last week with Winston-Salem and all the negative publicity recently that some of the HBCUs have gotten with the whole hazing with FAMU and then this whole Winston thing. The Bayou Classic has continued year after year to be a very positive thing for us. It is one of our major ways that we can show what we do as black colleges in football and particularly in band. So I'm excited about that. And real quick, also, we'll be going to the block band staff will be going to the Honda next year. So we're all excited about that.
Well, that's what's up, man. That's outstanding, man. Well, like I said, man, we
go to the Honda next year, Joe.
Yeah, I would like to go, man. It's not looking as well as I thought. I don't know how we'll pull it off, but who knows? Maybe in 2015 we'll be there. Might have like a banner or something, along with us. But it's definitely something that the Marching Podcast would like to start being a part of. You know what I'm saying? And definitely getting all the people out there to listen. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, man, we definitely on that upward climb for sponsors and all that. And you definitely out there listening and, appreciate what you and all the folks out there. Check out the marchingpodcast.com, and spread the word, So, yeah, we're doing the best we can. So, yeah, we'll let you know. But definitely, I'll be in contact with you about doing the show. We definitely going to be talking about the Honda and maybe who we think will win, yay or nay, between the bands that are there. So, I'll definitely be hollering at you this week, man.
All right, man, and Hampton hands down.
I heard that, bro. All right, well, that's looks like the end of the show. We definitely, we always try to make it an hour when it ain't all the bomb information like it was last week. But, we try to do what we can. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show. I'm going to end the show tonight with Florida A&M and the Isley Brothers. I think Living for the Love of You, I believe. I just know it's one of the Isleys. So we'll go ahead and close out the show with Florida A&amp. And we want you to check out the website, donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you next time.